taking the online race broadcast performance to the next level. This is the Full Velocity Network.
And the new revolution is here. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Full Velocity Network here live tonight at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Paying a visit to our old friends at TDR Racing, the very first time for us here as Full Velocity over to TDR. And what better night to do so coming over to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the annual trick they make every year. Of course, the TDR Apple Collision Premier Cup Series here is on feature tonight, as they are at TDR every Saturday night. We're thrilled to have you here on Full Velocity here this evening. Good evening, everybody out there in YouTube land. Welcome to the Ultimate Esport Experience. My name is Phil Lacasse, along with Todd Stanton alongside Joe Allen tonight at the controls here for us here on FVN. And Todd, great night to come out here back to TDR, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, a place we've been to many, many a times here. We've seen on the airwaves over the years, and always brings a really good show to us anytime we come over. And, you know, we talk about this Premier Cup Series, an awesome series, great field of cars out here tonight, and I think we're going to be in for one fantastic show.
Yeah, definitely. Always an adventure when we come over here for the Apple Collision Center's Premier Cup Series. A lot of good things going on here, and especially tonight we're at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. What better track to have a nice setting here on Full Velocity Network is somebody's going to kiss the bricks here this evening.
Who is going to kiss the bricks here? 1 year ago, we saw Alex Davis kiss the bricks here in this event. You know, we were out here 1 year ago live on the airwaves, but you know, Alex not a part of the field here tonight, so we'll see a new winner here in 2017. Race number 20 of the Premier Cup Series, and we'll get through, you know, all the scramble update they do for this series. This way they crown the champion and all the happenings here, the point standings, this entire field. But for the first time tonight, let's go down to the Full Velocity control booth. Say hello to our good buddy Joe Allen down there tonight once again at the controls. And Joe, an awesome field of cars here, and you're a winner this year on this year's Premier Cup Series. I mean, you're going to talk about this competition, what we see here on a Saturday night TDR. It's certainly a top-notch group of guys that come out.
Yes, sir, guys. Super stoked to be back here at TDR Racing, live here on the Full Velocity Network at the famed Indianapolis Motor Speedway. I had the opportunity to come out on track last week and ended up taking down a win on Saturday night. My fifth start in the series this year, I believe. I haven't been able to run as much as I would have liked to. Other obligations that keep us busy and keep us doing what we're doing up here in the booth for all of our fans and all of the leagues out there. So it was fun. TDR jam-packed with a bunch of quality guys that can go out there, and you know, anybody can win a race on any given night in this league. That's the fun thing, and that's the crazy intense thing about this league. So I think we're going to be in for a great show once again tonight here at Indianapolis, and I'm excited to put it on for all the fans out there in YouTube land.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't say thanks enough to the guys out there in YouTube land that make this all possible. Thanks to Brian Wolf, that awesome intro video updated for us here just for tonight. And, you know, Fluid Sim Racing Films, the official film provider here for us on the Full Velocity Network. Thanks to Brian. Thanks to all the guys out there that, you know, done so much to get us out on the airwaves. We're thrilled to be here in Indianapolis tonight. Race number 20 of the Premier Cup season. You know, can't wait to see where this is going to go. 160 miles the distance here tonight. 64 laps around the Indianapolis Motor Speedway makes up this awesome event here for the guys at TDR Racing tonight. But guys, we're about, you know, a minute away or so from putting these things out on the grid. So let's throw it trackside to tonight for tonight's playing of the national anthem. And the national anthem to get us started here tonight on the Ultimate Esport Experience, the Full Velocity Network. Check us out, fullvelocitynetwork.com. Check out our broadcast rates. I think all the leagues out there will be pleased. You know, custom fit for everybody's needs out there. No league too big or too small. You know, just customized to not only NR 2003, iRacing, and anything beyond that. We'd love to showcase it here on Full Velocity. But, of course, here the Indianapolis Motor Speedway tonight, the TDR Apple Collision Center's Premier Cup Series, race number 20 on the docket. Can't believe we're already getting 20 weeks into the series. Series has been headlined this year by our two-time defending series champion, 9-time winner of the season, the number 31, of course, Derek Justice. He'll highlight a star-studded field here tonight at TDR Racing here in Indianapolis. But Todd, without no further ado, these drivers about to take the grid. 64 laps around the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Let's dive straight into tonight's starting lineup.
To your car. And now the starting lineup for the Indianapolis Motor Speedway from the TDR Sim Racing League. Last week's winner, starting off on the pole, driving the number 22, that's Gary Piccolo, and his dancing partner to the outside, driving the number 3, that is Joey the Man.
Rolling off from third position tonight aboard that car, number 55. That's the Sidewinder, Scott Schroyer, and to his outside in the 72. Welcome back to the Premier Cup Series, Isaac Johnson.
Inside row number 3, starting in that 5th starting position, driving the number 33, that's Avery Karch, and outside of him, driving the 109, that's Ken Hansen.
Rolling off from the 7th position tonight, we find the Apple Collision Center's machine, the number 118, that is Robert Bauckham, and to his outside aboard car number 86 from Pennsylvania, that is Jim Black. Let's throw it trackside for tonight's command.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
As the command fire engines has gone across the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, starting inside row number 5, driving the number 028, that's Monty Keller, and his dancing partner to the outside, that's the Bobby, and driving the number 43, that's Bobby Farrell.
Rolling off 11th tonight, hometown boy here, hometown race in the number 59, that's our buddy Ryan Johnson, and to his outside in the beautifully prepared number 02 machine, that is Blake McCandless.
Starting in that 13th starting position, driving the number 70, that's J-Rock, Jason Skoraki, and outside of him, driving the number 47, that's Scott Guys-Wide.
Rolling off of 15th tonight, making his first start at TDR's Premier Cup Series, aboard the Double Knot 7, that is Rick Moon, and to his outside in the 108, that's the dog, John Palmer.
Starting in that 17th starting position, driving the number 29, that's Brian Wolf, and outside of him, that's the Flying Fossil himself, driving the number 69, that's Keith Patton.
Shotgun on the field tonight, 10th row. We find our point leader, two-time defending series champion, the number 31, Derek Justice, starting off 19th tonight and rolling off 20th. Shotgun on the field in the 121. That'll be Steve Looney. That is your full field starting lineup, 24 drivers strong, 64 laps around Indianapolis, Todd. We've been here to Indy many, many times. It is definitely a different racetrack, very, very narrow through the corners, and you know, as you set up to these stretches in the turns number 1 and 3, you know, through the short chutes and shooting you through turns number 2 and 4. So going to be a lot of passing zones here, a lot of high speeds, a lot of RPMs here tonight at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We're about to put this thing under green flag, Todd, for 64 laps. We look at our front row, the 22 of Gary Piccolo, picking up his first ever win in the Premier Cup Series 1 week ago, and a fantastic finish. For the first time, punches his way into the Premier Scramble in a couple of weeks. First-time winner Joey DeMann looking for his first win of the year. He'll roll off to the outside of the front row. Todd, the pace car is in. 160 miles in Indianapolis. Let's get this thing started.
Yeah, 160 miles in Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The loud pedal is down here, down the front straightaway. Gary Piccolo smashes the gas down the front straightaway. Looks like he's going to get a good start. Over the number 3 of Joey the Man. Looking on the track, we've been looking on the track there. You've seen that little green dotted line. That green dotted line, we're just showing you the quickest way around Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Another cool feature here on the Full Velocity Network.
Yeah, it's a little first there, showing, you know, the preferred line around where you think these guys need to be as they head down the back straightaway. for the first time, all chasing our race leader, the 22 of Gary Piccolo, into turn number 3, looking like the inside lane. Looks like that preferred way around to this first lap. Joey DeMann will fall into position 2. Scott Schroyer 3rd, Isaac Johnson 4th, and there's that 33 machine, Avery Karch on our screen. That's our good buddy Martin out there in the 33. He's currently 5th, Todd, as they complete lap number 1.
Completing lap number 1, currently running in that 5th spot is the 33 of Avery Karch. Having a good run here thus so far, coming down into turn number 1. He's working over the bottom groove of the track, trying to get around that 72 of Isaac Johnson. Johnson right now just a little bit up off the bottom. As you can see, that nice line there through the corner. Martin Karch almost following that racing line to the T. As you see the racing line out there, that feature, it's a beautiful feature that we have here on the Full Velocity Network. And he's almost following that to the T. It's almost like he has it on too.
Well, most of us guys out there that may probably, like to have that line on to show us, preferred braking points and, the passing zones out on the racetrack. So, just a different perspective for our viewers out there on Full Velocity as we start this thing tonight. Up front, still Gary Piccolo, Joey DeMann right there in his tire tracks. Scott Schroyer's got no challenge for 3rd. The best race on the racetrack looks like for that 4th spot there, Todd. Isaac Johnson, the 72, keeping that thing glued low to the low side as they hit turn 1 and 2. But you see the 33 of Karch all over the back bumper. Almost looks like he had to breathe that throttle a little bit. Looks like these guys are really getting a good run through the draft. Just as we say that 72 with that, that momentum, he's to the inside of Schroyer. They're going to be side by side for 3rd into turn 3.
Yeah, put Isaac Johnson immediately to that 3rd spot. Now he's going to leave the door wide open to Scott Schroyer for the 33 of Karch. Karch not able to capitalize there through the corner, but Isaac Johnson did move up into that 3rd spot, and that number 72. Karch all over the rear bumper of the Sidewinder. Scott Schroyer. Schroyer trying to fend him off, but Martin Karch down on the bottom. And that number 33 also at the same time, the 109 is peeking on the line. I believe that's Ken Hansen.
Ken Hansen's inside the 118 of Robert Baucom. That's racing for the 6th position into turn number 1 and 2. Robert, no worse for wear. He'll pull that car over, let Ken Hansen gain a spot. Ken's had a solid season so far in the Premier Cup Series. Currently 5th in the overall point standings. Firmly in position right now to qualify for that scramble about 10 races from now when they end what we call the regular season over here at TDR. And they start the elimination scramble. We'll talk about all that later. Update where everybody's, current criteria all sits through this field, but so far looking through the top 10, everybody's seeming to be mainly sorted out single file there, Todd, and it looks like these guys in Indianapolis, tremendous amount of grip on the racetrack and setups out there, perfect track conditions. What a great view we have here all around this place tonight.
Yeah, definitely a great view around this speedway. I've been keeping my eye on that Baskin-Robbins sponsored machine there, Phil, is he's already up to the 12th position, started 20th in that number 31 machine. So he's making some moves up through the field here early on in the going. His last lap is indeed his best lap, 48.055. Trying to look through to see who the fastest guy right now on the track is. And Joey McMahon has set up the fastest time of 47.955, and then the 33 of Martin Karch 47.995. So those guys going pretty quick around this speedway. The 22 of Gary Piccolo just 3rd quick, 48.010. The 31 is 48.055. So he's 4th quickest right now on the speedway.
Yeah, absolutely. And you see that 22 currently your race leader as they head toward turn number 1 and 2. Him and the 3 car of Joey DeMann have pulled away from this field a little bit. 1.5 second advantage over our 3rd place running number 72 car of Isaac Johnson. What these guys have out front there, Todd, they get the benefit of this clean air. Those guys stay in line, and these guys may get racy behind. You may see that interval grow here as drafting in aero sensitivity. Indianapolis is always something that's played such a crucial key anytime you come here.
Yeah, definitely a crucial key anytime you come here to drafting. In fact, tires are going to play a role here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. These guys trying to save some of their tires, not trying to run away and blister those tires off. As you'll start seeing some of these guys fade here later on in this run here. As right now, Gary Piccolo still leading the 3 of Joey DeMann, running in that 2nd spot. He is all over the rear bumper of the 22 of Gary Piccolo, though. And then you got Isaac Johnson. He's running in that 3rd spot in the number 72 machine. The 33 of Martin Karch is still running in that 4th spot, but he's all over the rear bumper of the 72 of Isaac Johnson. Right now running in that 5th spot is the 55 of Scott Schroyer, and he's got heavy heat from the 109 of Ken Hansen.
Yeah, great run for that Connecticut driver in that 109. The Coors Ford of Ken Hansen, set all over the tire tracks of Scott Schroyer as they head toward turn number 3. Scott drives it deep down to that corner versus Ken kind of rolls out of it a little bit early, lets it set up to the corner. I think that's the preferred way I would do it here. I mean, keep in mind, Indianapolis rather, a flat racetrack kind of like in New Hampshire, of course, 2.5 miles. You're going to turn a tremendous rate of speed, but these corners, Joe Allen, they're only banked at about 4 or 5 degrees. That puts a heavy load, especially toward the right front tire as we get longer into a run. How crucial do you think tire wear is going to be as we get through the course of this race?
I think tire wear is going to play a very important role as you get down towards the end of this race. And even management through the middle of this race, keeping the right side fenders on the car is definitely going to be a key aspect of this. You'll see guys that start to push probably on the exit of turn 2 and the exit of turn 4 more than others, and those are going to be your problematic areas that you're going to look for as a driver. So I know in my experience racing out there on the racetrack, guys, I'm definitely paying attention to that right front inner temperature all around this racetrack. And guys like Derek Justice, this is something you see week in and week out. He'll hang back towards the latter half of the top 10, save his tires, and he'll make a power run towards the end of this run before you get to pit stops if you can make green flag pit stops. So expect to see a guy like Derek, guys like Robert Bauckham, Blake McCandless out there. Expect to see guys like them start to move up through this field as they continue to put laps on these tires and build heat in them.
Yeah, we've got 9 up on the board right now. We're going to put 10 next time around, so that should put us officially here, Todd, about halfway through a full fuel and tire run here. I believe the fuel window tonight was somewhere in that 18 to 20 lap range. Tire wear not looking like to be any kind of factor at all, but these guys turning some great laps around Indianapolis. They're stretched out all over the speedway. You see the 22 of Piccolo, Joey DeMann, they've broken away. 2-car tandem behind them about Isaac Johnson and Avery Karch, the 33. By using that draft, they've run them guys down a full second. We're going to have a 4-car dance for the lead there, Todd, through turn 1.
Yeah, the 72 of Isaac Johnson dives below the number 3 of Joey the Man. Joey the Man on the top side of the speedway in that number 3 machine. The 72 trying to work over the bottom side is Isaac Johnson. Johnson not able to pull off the pass here quite yet. Might be able to do it at the exit of the corner in that number 72 machine. Still side by side with the number 3 of Joey the Man.
Yeah, side by side there. Who's going to have the preferred line as they head toward turn number 3? The 3-car looks like he may be clear. He's going to slam the door shut. The 72 checks up just ever so slightly. Almost a little bit of door contact there between him and the 33 of Karch. Martin will slide up the racetrack. He'll gather that Children's Hospital Stonewall Memorial Tribute car off of turn number 4. They're going to be single file there. Those guys all tucked within 2 or 3 car lengths of each other. Great racing here through these first 11 laps at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. As we look further back through the field, we find Scott Schroyer currently still the 5th spot. Ken Hansen, the 109, currently 6th. How about the run for Robert Bauckham? Haven't talked too much about Bauckham here tonight. He's now up to that 7th position in that 118. Those guys all right there, Todd, with about 2 or 3 car lengths of each other. 118 looks to have a really good piece. He may be on the prowl, looking for that 6th spot as they head toward turn 3.
As you said, Schroyer was running in the 5th position, just as quick as you said. That the 109 now around him. That's Ken Hansen now into the 5th spot in the 109. So put Ken Hansen up to 5th, back to 6th, Scott Schroyer. Still, meanwhile, back up front, those guys battling hot and heavy for that top spot all the way through the 4th spot. These guys have been trying each other. Some have been trying high, like Martin Karch. He's tried up to the top side of the 72, not able to complete that pass. The 72 is now trying back down to the bottom side of Joey the Man. None of these guys have been able to make any headway as of right now.
No, not at all as we pay attention to that top 4. That 33 all over the back bumper to the 72 as they exited off that 2nd quarter. Isaac getting a great launch on the 3-car. The 72 will go to the bottom, see if he can't complete that maneuver. Nope, can't do so. He'll pull back in line. Indianapolis, Todd, being a narrow racetrack, being a flat racetrack, at the rates of speeds you go charge into these corners, it's such an aero-dependent racetrack. It's such a line-sensitive racetrack. But also one of those things, we talk about a rhythm type of racetrack. How important is rhythm at a place like Indianapolis to set up these corners and prepare for these high rates of speed that you get down the straightaways?
Rhythm is pretty important here at some of these types of tracks. And Phil, this is more like a flatter track compared to some of the tracks that we run. But rhythm is key. Green flag, and you're staying in your rhythm. You're able to get some laps and rattle off some laps pretty well. But I'm not sure as far as a good green flag run, I usually fall off at some of these tracks because I'm not able to save the tires as well as others. I would probably be running about the top 10, outside the top 10. Not completely sure how I'd be running, but it's been a while, and got to knock some rust off there, Phil. But these guys right now up front are showing the muscle here. Is the 72 of Isaac Johnson way down to the bottom side. Looked like the 3 of Joey the Man trying to break the draft there just a little bit from Isaac Johnson. Johnson now down to the bottom side once again. Gary Piccolo goes down to the bottom. Joey the Man drifts way up the track, leaving the door wide open for Isaac Johnson to complete the pass here into second. Now leaves the door wide open for the 3-3 of Karch. Karch now to third.
Yeah, Karch up to third. Now, how much do you think the 3 car may have abused his tires, making that aggressive move to the corner? He shoved up the racetrack. You know, the 3's got a good piece, qualified outside pole, been running up in that top 3 or 4 all night long. He's falling the furthest back he's fallen now with 14 laps on the board. He's going to be back to P4 as they exit through turns number 3 and 4. All chasing our pole sitter, our race leader, last week's winner in that Red Line Motorsports machine, the 22 of Gary Piccolo. He's led all 15 or 14 laps to this point, put 15 up on the board, but he may have a challenger, Todd. Here comes Isaac Johnson, a whole shot move as he drives it deep into turn 1. Give Isaac Johnson the lead as they hit turn 2.
Yeah, Isaac Johnson with the lead in that number 72 machine, finally getting around the 22 of Gary Piccolo. The 33 also capitalizing on Gary Piccolo. He moves into third. That is Martin Karch. Now a side-by-side battle for that 4th spot between the 22 of Gary Piccolo and the number 3 of Joey the Man. Joey the Man now back up to the 3rd spot in that number 3. Gary Piccolo drop kick back to 4th here, all other than 1 lap.
All within 1 lap, as you said. Now, Todd, think about it. Those 2 guys were, you know, pulling away from this field through these opening laps. We saw the 72, the 33 use that draft to run these top 2 down. Do you think these guys that maybe run up front, speaking of Gary and Joey, do you think they have used their tires any? Do you think the 72 and the 33 may have saved? We're at the very tail end of a fuel and tire run here, probably about 3 laps away from seeing these guys on pit road.
Well, it looked like Gary in the 22 and the number 3, Joey the Man, trying to run away and hide. You've got a little bit of time to experiment here with the tires to see where they're going to blister, see what's going to happen, how much heat you can actually take into some of them tires. Maybe those guys were trying here really hard early on, and I think Gary Piccolo was trying to drive away from the field and make sure that he maybe can get a second win here in the Premier Cup Series, the TDR Apple Collision Premier Cup Series for that matter, and try to get the second win here. But he's got himself into that scramble right now, Phil, in that number 22 machine. So it's going to be interesting to see what kind of strategy calls he's able to make in that 22.
Well, for years, Gary, you know, entering, you know, of course, last year, the first time TDR, you know, used that scramble we covered here, you know, on our former flagship here for the latter part of last year to show how that went. But, you know, Gary Piccolo, you know, all of a sudden winning last week, pulled the upset in New Hampshire last week, had a great race over, you know, defeating the 31 of Derek Justice in a side-by-side battle in the closing lap. But, you know, Gary currently second in the point standings. He's got that win under his belt. You know, he's made the, you know, required number of starts to make this scramble already this year. So Gary Piccolo, you know, looks firmly planted. He's going to be one of those guys that is going to be eligible for that scramble here in the next couple of weeks. But as we talk about Gary, Todd, the 22, he's going to be the first of our race leaders. He's on pit road in that number 22 Ford.
Yeah, Gary Piccolo rolling down pit road here, a long pit road here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, waiting to come to the aid of his pit crew. And I could imagine nothing else but 4 tires for that 22 machine. We're just going to have to wait and see what they're going to do, that Ford power machine. Gary Piccolo waiting to roll down here, and it's a long way down this pit road. And I'm telling you, the first pit stall sometimes is wreaks havoc on you. You might speed here, but looks like work going on the right side for the 22 of Gary Piccolo. It looks like they're going to be able to complete the work here on the right side. Let's see if they go over to the left side. They indeed are going to go over to the left side. 4 tires is the call for the number 22 of Gary Piccolo. He is now down and away.
Looking down toward, you know, the entrance of pit road, I see the 33 of Karch, the 3 of Joey the Man have both found their way onto pit road. I'm going to drive with that Good Wrench Chevrolet, that familiar number 3 of Joey the Man. Let's see what the the work is going to be for Joey a long pit road, as we've talked about. He's going to go all the way down to the very end, the second pit stall, 55 miles per hour, the speed limit. It is a long pit road here in Indianapolis. You know, almost it's a 5 mile in length pit road, so it's a long way around. The 3 car makes the left-hand turn. He's on the sign. The right side tire is in the air on that Chevrolet, so going to be at least 2 right sides. I'm going to assume probably going to be at least 4 tires for the 3 car. I'm seeing left sides going up, left side work on the 3, also left side tire work, 4 tires for the 33 of Karch. Those 2 drivers, Todd, work is done. They're going to rejoin the race. Both drivers, the 33 and the 3, they're down and away.
Your TDR Apple Collision Premier Cup Series points leader, the 31 of Derek Justice, taking 4 fresh Goodyear Eagles, and he's down and away.
I got the 72 of Isaac Johnson. He's going to pit out of the race lead. Isaac, a previous race winner earlier this season at Bristol a few months ago, has not made a start in the series since he's won a few months ago. So let's see what the 72 does on this end of pit road. He'll come down to the sign, had a tremendous run, charged all the way up to the race lead. A right side tire pit stop here for that GM Goodwrench number 72 Chevrolet. Right side tire work is done. They'll swing over to the left side, so it's going to be a 4 tire pit stop for Isaac Johnson. Quick and speedy work there for Speedy. Isaac Johnson down and away.
I've been watching up and down pit road. It looks like the call for all of these cars, Phil, has been 4 tires here. I've seen the 02 of Blake McCandless. He took 4 tires. Also, he's down and away. I'm thinking almost the Robert Balcom was 4 tires. The 59 of Ryan Johnson, 4 tires also. I believe the 028 is still down here on pit road. That's Monte Keller. He took 4 tires also.
Looks like 4 tires going to be the call up and down pit road, which is typical here in Indianapolis. We've been all green flag racing here, 20 laps of 64 up on the board. Been a tremendous race for these guys at the TDR Racing League. Find the guys at TDR, tdr-racing.net, an awesome league. 2 nights of spectacular racing. Saturday night here with the Premier Cup Series, Sunday night with the Pro Truck Series here. An awesome series, an awesome league. Been here 14 years, if you can believe it. tdr-racing.net. Thrilled to showcase, you know, a place that I call home. I think all 3 of us consider TDR Racing our home. Place I do most of my racing here through the years, you know, only place I've ever called home. So great to be here with Full Velocity tonight and showcase what I call home here on the airwaves for many to see. As green flag pit stops have cycled through. We're waiting for timing and scoring, Todd, but it looks like the 72 of Isaac Johnson looks like he got the cleanest of entry and really fast pit service. Looks like he'll cycle back to the race lead.
Yeah, he's going to cycle back to the race lead. This is the 72 of Isaac Johnson. The top four cars remain the same. They're just a little bit jumbled around, scrambled around just a little bit compared to what they were here when they went to the pit stops. The 72 of Isaac Johnson is your current race leader. The 22 of Gary Piccolo running second. Third is a 3 of Joey the Man. Fourth is a 33 of Martin Karch. Fifth is the number 31 of Derek Justice. Remember, he started 20th on the field, but Derek Justice now up to that 5th spot and running these guys down pretty good, but he's 5 seconds back. Robert Balcom running in that 6th spot. 7th is Ken Hansen. 8th is Scott Schroyer. 9th is Blake McCandless. 10th right now is the 007. That is Rick Moon. Rick Moon having a pretty good run here early on in the going. The 121 of Steve Looney now back in that 12th position and falling back just a little bit, but the 59 of Ryan Johnson in that 11th spot. 13th is Jim Black. 14th Bobby Farrell. 15th Brian Wolf. 16th the 028 of Monte Keller. 17th the 108 of John Palmer. 18th the number 70 of Jason Skaraki, J-Rock. 19th the number 47 of Scott Geiswhite, and retired from this event, that is the Flying Fossil, Keith Patton, not flying so much here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
No, 20 drivers took the green flag, 19 still left on the racetrack, 18 of those drivers left on the lead lap through a round of green flag pit stops, and we saw those top 4 racing through that first segment. Well, just as we left at Isaac Johnson, Gary Piccolo, Joey the Man, Martin Karch, those 4 drivers all tandem together at the front of this field. The story of the race, though, Todd, the 31 of Derek Justice, you know, of course, 2-time defending champion, 9-time winner, if you can believe it. Out of 19 starts, Derek won 9 times this season. 19th in the field through a round of, you know, green flag pit stops, you know, caution free to this point. Derek has run these guys down 5.2 seconds last time around. Let's see if he closes the interval. That 31 car certainly on the move. You know, do you think if this thing stays green through another round of green flag pit stops, can he possibly run them down? I think he gained about a second and a half on pit road, so we know he's quick getting on and off pit road. Does he have enough time to chase these guys down if this thing stays green?
Yeah, he should have enough time to chase these guys down. We're on lap 24 of 64, so he got about 40 laps left here to go at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. I think he's able to do that. If this stays green flag, he's able to. He's going to be able to get these guys. I believe his entry to pit road and his exit to pit road is pretty much flawless. I've seen Derek Justice make some mistakes though in the past there, Phil, where his pit road entries really screwed him up and lost him some important things. In that number 31 of Derek Justice, and Justice took that real hard, so I'm sure he's practiced a lot on his pit road entries and exits, and that way he don't screw up and maybe even pick up another win here tonight.
Yeah, well, as I said, talking about Derek, you know, a guy, you know, a pit road mistake, as he knows, it can cost you a championship. And I know our buddy, the Champ, is out in the chat box there tonight, and I know he's a guy probably with a big smile on his face as we talk about those pit road mistakes and, you know, winning a championship by way of somebody just making that critical mistake. But if anybody can chase these guys down, it is Derek. You know, looking at the interval, 5.1 seconds. So he's chopped a tenth off our leaders there last time around. But I was looking up and down here, Todd. We saw everybody on pit road for 4 tires and fuel. The last of these drivers I saw come to pit road, the 121 of Steve Looney, guys, he's made, it looks like, 21 laps here through that first run. Now, Joe, I'm going to ask you this question because you're a guy who has always been really, really good at, you know, as far as fuel conservation goes. But, you know, looking at the, 64 laps, we talked about the fuel window being 18 to 20. Steve Looney may have squeezed an extra lap or two out of that first run, Joe. By doing that in each run, can he possibly save enough to maybe make this on one less pit stop than everybody else, thinking these guys probably going to stop 3 times? Can he make it on 2 using that strategy?
You know, Steve may very well be able to do something like that. He's going to have to keep in mind how far off, the pace he falls from the rest of these guys while he's out there doing that. You don't want to lose any laps part of that strategy, because all that's going to do is throw you right back out with the leaders after pit stop cycle around, and then you're going to have to try and battle your way through it. But Steve is a guy that can do that. I remember a specific NRT Pro Truck Series race at TDR at Watkins Glen that he made that race on one stop and ended up beating me. I was out to a pretty substantial lead, I would say, and he ended up having to make one less pit stop than me, and he came away and ended up stealing a win. So if anybody can do it, Steve Looney is certainly a guy that can go out there and potentially do something like that, Phil.
Yeah, and I think that's one of those things that really, really stuck out to me there is, we saw him being one of those last holdouts going on to pit road. But, currently Steve in that 12th spot, 30 seconds off the rear. So, 30 seconds a long time, but, he may save, the time of one less time on pit road. So we'll have to see where this is going to go. 28 laps of 64 on the board, if you can already believe it. These guys really doing a fabulous job here at TDR tonight as we're quickly approaching the halfway marker. It is still Isaac Johnson, 2-car length lead on the 3 of Joey Demand, another 2 car lengths back to the 33 of Martin Karch third, and about 3 or 4 car lengths back we find the pole sitter, Gary Pickle at number 22. So those guys have broken away about 5 seconds of the rest of the field. The fastest car on the racetrack, Todd, has to be that number 31 of Derek Justice. 4.8 seconds last time around, so a little bit more and a little bit more every lap. He's clicking up just about a tenth each lap, maybe not an even tenth, but just about there. 31, Todd, I know you've got that telemetry in front of you, has to be the fastest car on the racetrack at this juncture.
I'm looking up and down right now just to see what last laps were indeed, and as you were just saying that, I'm looking at the last lap for Derek Justice. The last lap for Derek Justice was a 48.325. There's some guys right there in a group around him. Guess who's faster than Derek Justice? The 118 of Robert Balcom, 48.243. The last time by, and Ken Hansen was even faster with a 48.167. So the guys that are drafting with Derek Justice right now are indeed faster than the 31 machine. The 31 of Derek Justice still hanging on to that 5th spot, but they're indeed faster than him as of right now. Gary Piccolo, just to give you guys a for instance, Gary Piccolo ran a 48.646. He's fallen off that lead draft quite a bit. So he's almost a half a second off the guys behind him. So it won't take them guys behind him very long to catch him here with the last lap of a 48.660. But let's take a look at the leaders. Leaders last time by, Isaac Johnson, 48.231. to Martin Karch's 48.266. to Joey the Man's 48.518, almost in a lap like the 22 of Gary Piccolo. But those guys right behind him, 48.3s. Those guys are catching them in a hurry there, Phil.
Well, they certainly are starting to rut them down a little more and a little more. Three-car draft there, running 5th through 8th. Derek, Robert, and Ken, the 3 fastest cars on the racetrack. Just showing how much that draft plays a role here in Indianapolis. You would think the way the intervals are closing down that the 31 would be faster, but indeed, with those 2 cars tucked right behind them, the 118, the 109, those 2 drivers be able to click off great lap times, Todd. We know they're fast, but who do you think in that 3-car tandem there, who's using up the most fuel, who's using up the, the most tire here is, now we're probably through maybe a second round of green flag pit stops coming up.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out who would be using the most fuel here through the run, and I wouldn't want to be the guy out in front. I'm looking to the second pack. I just wouldn't want to be the guy out in the front of these packs. You're using up a lot more fuel. You're trying to drag the guys behind you with you, so you're using up a little bit more fuel than those guys that could be staying sucked up behind you, just saving a little bit of fuel. But the 22 machine of Gary Piccolo, he's also sitting there with no help, no drafting help whatsoever. In between these 2 packs, you got a 3-car pack in front of them, and you got a 3-car pack behind them. We're coming up on halfway home here, and this time it's going to be the halfway point, and we're going to get ready to do some of our picks here this evening. We do them about around the halfway point of this, and this time we got green flag conditions going on out there on the Speedway. Beautiful Indianapolis Motor Speedway race here so far, guys, and we've looked up and down the point standings so far for our picks here, and we've been doing point standings for the last 2 broadcasts and shows that we've done here on the Full Velocity Network. Right now, I'm the current points leader with 4 points ahead of you 2. You guys are tied for second, but default, Joe's had the worst finishes here out of anybody. Joe, you get the first pick here this evening. Who's going to win this race?
All right, guys, as we're looking up and down the field, we're seeing guys like Isaac Johnson up front, Martin Karch having a great run in the 33, see Joey DeMann in the 3-car, Gary Piccolo falling off this lead pack just a little bit, but still, he's led 14 laps so far today, so he's definitely a solid choice. But guys, I'm going to go ahead and go out on a limb. I'm going to go with that guy running in the 3rd position right now. I think Joey DeMann will be the one that doesn't make the most mistakes coming down to the end of this race. I think he'll put himself in contention to go out there, and I think he's going to steal a win away from a guy like Isaac Johnson. So my pick for this evening, the number 3, that's Joey DeMann.
That's a great pick right there. Todd, I'm not sure who's next up on the list. You or is it me? I know you get those point standings there from our picks right in front of you. So who's got next pick?
It is you who has next pick. I have last pick here this evening.
Put me in the middle. I guess I'll take it. So let's see. Looking up and down the leaderboard, I'm not going to go too far on a limb. This may not be a popular choice per se, but I think I'm going to go with it. I'm looking at that number 33 car. On the screen tonight, Avery Karch, that's our good buddy Martin out there, that Children's Hospital scheme. Our old buddy Jim Jackson, Stonewall, sponsored entry there. I think the 33 of Martin Karch, the monkey has been on his back in this series for the better part of 2 years. It's just been a struggle for him to finish in the top 5. But I think he's a guy coming out to Indianapolis tonight. Almost won this race last year. I don't think he'll make that mistake tonight. My pick, Todd, the 33 of Karch is going to go to victory lane. So I guess last but not least, your pick, Todd.
Well, and I'm looking up and down the field, and these guys have been fast. There's a lot of different guys out there on the Speedway I'd like to pick. I'd like to pick probably 4 or 5 different guys out there, but that's not allowed. Just looking up and down, and I'm kind of struggling with this. You guys left this field wide open with me. You got Isaac Johnson out there who's been running pretty consistent lap times. You got Derek Justice who's out there. You guys, neither one of you guys picked either one of those guys, and I know they're strong each and every week. But I think what I'm going to do is go with number 31 of Derek Justice. I believe Derek Justice is going to take down a win here this evening. I think he's got what it takes. I think he's got something up his sleeve, qualifying in that 20th position. I think I'm going to go with Derek Justice. Normally I don't go with Derek because every time I do, he doesn't perform well. So Derek Justice, I'm going with him. Gary Piccolo is down on pit road. We're going to get to him, but I'm going to throw it down to the YouTube chat box. Who's going to win this race? It's halfway home. It's actually past halfway. It took us that long to do our picks. Well, who are you guys rooting for? Who you guys got that's going to win this race here this evening?
Yeah, let those picks come in now, guys, in the YouTube chat box. Who is going to go to victory lane now past the halfway mark in this race? you know, the first run we saw the 22 of Gary Piccolo be the first car to pit road. Well, he's once again got that machine, that Redline Motorsports Ford, onto pit road. Let's see what the work is for our pole sitter. You know, we fell a lot of time off of that pace. You think maybe he burned those tires up? Got to be nothing less than a 4-tire pit stop for that number 22 Ford. Right side tire work is done. Over to the left side tires here. 36 laps on the board here, Todd. So he's going to have to stop at least one more time. Gary Piccolo's work, he's down the way there.
Yeah, looking up and down pit road just to see who else is on pit road. I seen the 007 of Rick Moon down on pit road. Here comes Derek Justice down on pit road. Robert Balcom and the 118 machine. They're both down on pit road. Those guys mirroring each other. And Robert Balcom's one of those guys I wanted to pick too. They're here tonight, Phil. But I'm watching. But it looks like the yellow flag's going to fly here for the first time this evening. Not sure what happened. Maybe the 028 of Monty Keller. We've made it halfway home, and I said something about green flag racing, Phil, and yeah, it's probably my fault the yellow came out.
Well, it certainly could be, but there's stuff happening coming off of pit road. Looks like the 028 of Monty Keller. Not sure he was leaving pit road. No, he did not, so I'm not sure what happened there. Not sure he got down to the grass, to the apron. Maybe lost grip, but looking like something going awry off the exit of turn number 2. The 028 of Monty Keller going to, you know, bring out the first caution flag of the night. 38 laps of 64. A tremendous green flag run for these guys. The TDR Apple Collision Center Premier Cup Series. You know, a tough break for those guys like Gary who've just come to pit road there, Todd. But, you know, a good break for guys out there, you know, like the Joey Demands, like the Martin Karch, you know, especially guys like, you know, Robert Balcom, Ken Hansen, Derek Justice. How about Scott Schroyer, who's had a great run tonight? So those guys get to run down that interval, and, you know, maybe some guys happy to see this caution flag at this juncture.
Yeah, there's got to be some guys that are definitely happy about seeing this caution flag fly, but there's a lot of these guys that like to see the green flag going on out there and see what's happening and see what kind of strategies those guys are going to play, because a lot of these guys did take some longer runs in practice just to see what their tires are going to do. So a lot of these guys do like the long green flag runs there, Phil, and but this might have played into the hands of Robert Balcom or Derek Justice. Now the gap is closed. They don't have to make up as much on pit road. But I'm going to throw it down to Joe Allen here in the production trailer. He's got a replay queued up and ready. Joe, what happened out there?
All right, guys, we're going to focus our attention on the 028. That is our buddy Monty Keller. Looks like he just gets down onto the bottom of the racetrack, might have touched those left side tires there on the grass, got himself a little bit out of shape. We'll get this thing playing in a little bit of slow motion for you guys as you see this. We're looking down at the bottom. He's got that 29 of Brian Wolf behind him. He just locks him up here on the bottom, right in front of the leader, Isaac Johnson, in that number 72 machine. So that could have been disastrous for our race leaders as that happened right in front of him. But, guys, it looks like just a self-spin for the 028 machine. I don't think he had any contact with the inside wall or anything like that. He's going to come down for 4 fresh Goodyear tires there on pit road under this caution break, and he'll get himself back out there on the racetrack and back going in the right direction, and no harm, no foul with anything down there on the racetrack, guys. So back up to you in the booth.
All right, well, looking at pit road, it's a hungry place there. All the guys on the lead lap are going to come to pit road for fresh service here. 39 laps of 64 on the board. You know, maybe something these guys are happy to see as far as getting on pit road and, you know, getting fuel and tires under caution flag, racing these, you know, intervals they've had. But a tough break there, Todd, for the guys who've just come to pit road, maybe trapped a lap down. You saw the likes of Gary Piccolo come onto pit road. Blake McCandless was down there. You know, guys all losing a lap, you know, making that early pit stop. Those guys may be all trapped a lap down. Granted, they may all take waiver rounds to save that lap, but that puts them off cycle here in a place like Indianapolis, and sometimes that may not be a total bad thing now, is it?
No, no. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes that plays right into your hands. And guy getting the lucky dog here on this caution, the number 7 of Jason Skaraki, J-Rock, and that number 70 machine. He is actually the one that's gonna play into his hands. He was trapped 1 lap down. He's gonna get a lucky dog and be able to join the tail end of the lead lap.
But we'll have to see, you know, how that all plays out. You guys got to figure out, you know, the unfortunate part, you know, from race control, and, you know, hats off to Jack Truan, you know, the lead admin here when I come up with the booth, and Martin Karch out there who's here to support tonight. You know, anytime you out to these races, anybody out there who runs a league, admins a league, you know, races night after night, any league, you get a caution flag in the middle of green flag pit stops, it can certainly be a headache for race control. You know, figure out what car is the lucky dog, what driver's going to take the wave around, what drivers may have incurred a pit road penalty just by, a silly glitch with the pace car leaving, pit road, and you're trapped on pit road, and there's a spook gear behind the pace car, you're trapped one lap down, you're not a lap down, so, hats off to all these guys. Race control certainly has its hands full, and the complexion of this race, no doubt, has probably changed with this caution flag. But Todd, it just gives you a headache here at race control when some of those things can happen to you.
Yeah, it definitely does give you a headache on the race control. We're on lap 40 of 64 here. Just waiting to see what's happening. Some of these guys not able to trying to get it going here and trying to see what's going on out there on the speedway. Sometimes it's really, really difficult to figure out what's going on, and right now these guys trying to figure out where they belong out there on the speedway here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So just waiting for these guys to lock, set, and restack and repack.
All right, so letting timing and scoring all sort out. All these guys have all come on and off pit road. Looks like the 118 of Robert Baca may have rolled the dice here, Todd. Looks like he's going to come out, through this round of yellow flag pit stops here and see where this all sorts out. So, under the caution flag, I think lights are still on the pace car, so going to be at least one more time around this, long Indianapolis Motor Speedway. But, for this race, special night here, we've coined an in-race reporter for us, and a buddy of ours, a guy who's expressed an interest in maybe joining us in the booth one day. I know we took a young Joe Allen a couple of years ago and brought him into the fray, and he seemed to fit like a glove and came in. So as Full Velocity branches out, we've decided tonight, let's make Blake McCandless our in-race reporter, that number 02. Blake, it's Phil from Full Velocity, buddy. Got a copy?
10-4, Phil, I got you.
Oh, Blake, an awesome run for these guys at TDR. You were stuck about mid-pack. Looks like you may get a wave around here to put yourself back on the lead lap. How's that race car, and how's the racing been out there? A lot of green flag racing. It's been awesome to watch.
It's been great to have some good green flag runs here. It's just unfortunate I just was sucking early in the race, and wasn't able to get up to speed. Just had a pretty poor qualifying effort, and it just took me a while to figure this track out. There's a lot more speed and a lot more grip out here than I expected. So we're lucky to be able to take the wave around here and see if we can get a quick caution and get this 02 Dodge up front back where it belongs.
Well, you get your work cut out for you. There's definitely some fast cars out there this evening, but we saw 38 laps of a green flag run. You guys are sitting at the tail end of having to come to pit road one more time under green. But how's tire wear affecting you guys tonight? There's a lot of speed and a lot of grip on the racetrack, but how are the tires holding up underneath you guys?
It doesn't seem like there's a lot of, it doesn't seem like there's a lot of tire fall off here. It seems like you can run pretty much. I mean, I was running 100% there that last run and kind of ran out of tires with a couple laps to go in the run. But it seems like you're able to just kind of put your foot down on the mat and just kind of go for it. So there's a little bit of tire conservation at the end of the run, but if we have about a 15 lap run, it's worth kind of just going all out here.
Well, Blake, about to go green, but in-race reporter tonight. I know you volunteered for us for Full Velocity to do so. We appreciate that, buddy, but we'll put you back to go up on the race channel, let you get back all sorted out on the racetrack here. And Todd, no quick caution flag here in Indianapolis. These guys about to go green, 41 laps on the board, so one more last stretch here to close this thing out this evening.
The field was restacked, repacked, just waiting for that green flag for these drivers to put the hammer down, that loud pedal down. The loud pedal is indeed down because the green flag is in the air here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway once again. The 72 of Isaac Johnson in the lead here in that number 72 machine. The number 3 machine of Joey the Man running into that second spot. Third right now is the 33 of Martin Karch. Look at the 109 of Ken Hansen. He's up to 4th. 5th is Scott Schroyer in the 55.
Yeah, 55 having a great run. How about Ken Hansen now, Todd? He's been on the march all night long. Now with that caution flag, able to, run down these lead guys, start on even footing. We know he's got a fast cores machine, now up to position number 4. He may be on the march. great run for all these guys. That 109 on the move as they exit turn number 4.
Watching 3 wide between the 31 of Jerry Justice, the 86 of Jim Black. Black now back into the wall once again. His right side is really extremely damaged. And the number 86 machine looks like he put a parachute out of the back of that number 86 machine. Jim Black right now falling through the field. But Black was actually 3 wide with the 121 of Steve Looney and the 31 of Derek Justice. That's amazing to see here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. But meanwhile, back up front, there's a battle for that second spot. Looks like the 33 now up to the second spot. The battle for that third spot now between Joey the Man and that number 3 in the 109 of Ken Hansen. Hansen on the bottom side, Joey the Man on the top side. Now put Ken Hansen into that third spot. Now a battle for the fourth spot between Scott Schroyer and Joey the Man.
Yeah, and it's one of those things. You get sucked in that outside lane. That low line is definitely the fast way around through these corners at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We saw Ken Hansen make that power move on the Joey the Man car as they exited turn number 4 this last time. Ken Hansen now up to 3rd. Martin Karch has, found his way back to the runner-up spot. It may not be too long, Todd, as they exit 2. The 33 looking for running room down low. You may see a drag race for the lead down the back straightaway.
Yeah, Martin Karch pushing it in that number 33 machine, trying to get around the 72 of Isaac Johnson. Johnson puts the loud pedal down a little bit harder, trying to stretch his lead out above that 33 as Martin Karch applying a lot of pressure to the 72 of Isaac Johnson, trying to make a mistake here. So far, Isaac Johnson clean and green. Here comes Karch back down to the bottom side, applying a little bit more pressure. He's going to have a run here down the front straightaway, using that draft to his advantage. Martin Karch down to the bottom side by side down the front straightaway. Karch on the bottom. The 72 of Isaac Johnson on the top side.
And they make that drag race toward turn number 1. The 33 of Karch drives it deep into turn number 1, pushes up the racetrack. He's got full control. Martin with an awesome run. He'll put the 33 car up to the race lead for the first time tonight. Isaac Johnson now back to that second spot in the 72. Ken Hansen, the 109. He's 3rd. Joey the Man is 4th. Scott Schroyer found his way now into the top 5. The 31 of Derek Justice, he's found his way now to that 6th position, and he is closing on this top 5, Todd. You said the 31 was going to be a player, and certainly as we get to the last third of this race, that 31 car, got to be looming large in the rearview mirror of this entire top 5.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen between this entire top 5. These guys throw a blanket over them, and these guys are fighting just that hard. It's the 72 of Isaac Johnson trying to hold off challenges from the 109 of Ken Hansen here. Hansen having a good run in that 109 machine, but the 3 of Joey the Man trying to hold off the 55 of Scott Schroyer. Derry Justice, meanwhile, just lurking there in the wings, trying to waiting to make a move here on these top 5 guys to get himself inside the top 5 for the first time this evening. The 59 of Ryan Johnson running in the 6th spot. Pretty good run for Ryan Johnson.
Oh, great run for Ryan Johnson, the 59. Had a great run last year in the Premier Cup Series. Ran the scramble all the way down to the last race at Phoenix before we got the homestead. Was down to that final 4. Had a tremendous year last year. Currently in the 4th spot in the standings. Has his way nestled currently in position once again to qualify for the scramble here in 2017. And keep an eye on that number 59 car. Currently in the 7th spot. It's going to be happy having a solid run. Of course, Ryan and son Isaac, they come from the Indianapolis area, so a home racetrack for them, a home field advantage, if you will, and both guys, Todd, nestled comfortably inside the top 10. The field heading toward turn 3, all chasing Martin Karch. Single file through that top 7 positions.
Yeah, single file through the top 7 positions, but it's interesting to see Isaac Johnson now has dropped back to that 4th spot. He's getting heavy pressure from the 55 of Scott Schroyer. Schroyer spins out the 72 of Isaac Johnson. Johnson into the wall, and that's going to bring out a yellow flag, I believe, Phil.
Certainly will do so. Contact on the racetrack, the 72. Not sure if if the 72 got loose. The 55 maybe drove in hot. We're going to let Joe tell that story here with the full velocity replay here. Contact on the racetrack. It's going to put us under caution flag for the 2nd time now here tonight. 48 laps of 64 up on the board, and 2-car contact on the racetrack. You always hate to see that happen. It's been so far a clean race. It was a solo spin that brought out our first caution flag, and looking like it may have been something there. Both guys running real close, nose to tail. you know, maybe a little bit of aero wiggle there from the 72. Those cars, you know, absolutely get aero dependent. We're going to let Joe tell the story here when he gets that replay happening here. But, you know, tough to tell there, Todd, if there was any contact with those two guys or not. But it's just hard racing here in Indianapolis, the way the aerodynamics play a role. Did they touch? Did they not touch? You know, I can't really tell from my vantage point. I know Joe's got the pretty cameras here tonight. We're going to let him tell the story. But it's just one of those things in Indianapolis, a line-sensitive racetrack, usually hard to pass. And maybe some guys, you know, maybe driving a little bit hard. Who knows what happens? But instead of asking Todd about it, let's ask Joe what happened. Joe, you ready here with a second full velocity replay of the night?
Yes, sir, guys. We're going to focus our attention on that number 72 of Isaac Johnson, the 55 of Scott Schroyer. Throw this thing in slow motion loop for you guys here. Scott looks like maybe a little bit of aero dependency loose there, maybe a little bit of contact, just a little nudge, enough to send him around. That's going to send Isaac in that 72 up into the wall. Heavy left rear damage on that car. Scott Schroyer is going to slam the wall too in his number 55 machine as well. So tough break for both of those guys in that corner. We'll back this up real quick, get us another look at this replay from camera 1. That'll be something neat to look at here, guys. So we'll switch this to camera 1 here. We'll throw this thing back in slow loop here. Scott just gets up on his bumper there, gets up underneath the left rear quarter panel of the car, and, you know, hard contact into the wall for both of those guys. So that's going to be tough to rebound from for both of those guys. Running inside the top 5, getting aggressive here, coming down to the end of this race. This will probably be our last pit stops pending, you know, any more cautions from here on, and then even more aftermath contact between the 55 and the 72 there, as we see on screen, just pancaking that passenger side of the 72, just adding more insult to injury, unfortunately, at that point of the incident. So some heavy damage for both of those competitors that were both running in the top 5, guys. Unfortunate for them. They'll come down, put new tires on it, try to get as much of that damage fixed as possible, and they'll move on from there. Back up to you guys in the booth.
All right, Joe, as always, great job with a full velocity replay. Joe Allen down there manning the controls once again this evening for us, and tough to tell there, Todd. I've rewound it, you know, 4 or 5 times. Was there contact that put that 72 around? Did it get aero loose and brought the 55 up on his bumper? You know, so tough to tell, but it's just hard-nosed racing here in Indianapolis. As Joe said, the laps are starting to click down. Guys are trying to make their moves to maybe put themselves in position. Tough to break, you know, tough to see both those guys tore up. They had fast race cars, and you know, with this realistic damage we got here in Indianapolis, that may ruin those race cars altogether. Tough break for both competitors.
Yeah, definitely a tough break for both of those competitors, the 55 of Scott Schroyer and the 72 of Isaac Johnson. Johnson's led quite a few laps. I don't know who indeed is at fault of that, but it looked like the 55 of Scott Schroyer on my screen, and I got some different camera angles here on this track. It looked like Schroyer just barely got underneath him and lifted his rear wheels up, and that's what sent the 72 around. But you're going to have to say that that's a tough call for an admin to make. So it's interesting. It really is, because you can see it from all kinds of different angles. But we're going to have about 15 laps here left at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and we're going to have to see what's going to happen. It's go time now, Phil.
It is certainly go time indeed. You know, the guy I think who's got to be happy to see this caution flag. You know, we talked about him as our pole sitter tonight. Picked up a big victory at Indianapolis last week, and you know, let's see if we can't talk to last week's winner, our pole sitter, and a guy probably happy to see this caution flag. Of course, that's the 22 of Gary Piccolo. Gary, it's Phil from Full Velocity, buddy. You have a copy.
Hey, how you doing, Phil?
We're doing fantastic, buddy. You had a great run through the first, 25 laps or so. Looked like you maybe burned the tires off a little bit through that second run, lost the toe of those guys a little bit. You get that, the wave around with that quick caution flag after you come to pit road. Got to be thanking your lucky stars right now. You're back in this thing, buddy. I mean, you got a fast race car. You got anything left from these fast guys up front?
Nah, I don't think I have anything in traffic. You were right. I definitely ran a lot harder than most people did in that first run, and I did that by design, but I kind of figured we're probably going to get an early yellow or somewhere before we had the first green flag pit stop, and we didn't get it, so then that kind of set me back a little bit. So I had to pit earlier than everybody else, and then that's when the yellow came out and I got behind, so I had to take that wave around. But in traffic, I'm not as good as I am out front in clean air. And this track is everything about track position, and the more dirty air you're in, the harder it is. And I'm definitely not one of the elites here that can really navigate, with that aero push and everything else. So I'm going to try to do the best I can, see what I can get out of this, keep it clean.
Well, it's definitely a high-speed flat racetrack, but, you know, it's tough to pass. But another place tough to pass, Gary, New Hampshire Motor Speedway. And 1 week ago, the monkey finally coming off your back. You know, you've been chasing that elusive TDR win on Saturday nights for about 3 years. That first one, man, had to feel good for you last week. It was an awesome race, and I'm sure you're going to be tickled to death to finally put that thing in victory lane here on Saturday night.
Oh, I definitely, not going to lie, it felt good. But, I mean, at the end of that thing, I wasn't sure I was the fastest car. I thought Robert was, and as you guys call it, the aliens had a little bit of abduction on them, and then that's kind of probably what put me in position to be able to race Derek there at the end. So I'm not sure how that one ended out, but you know how it is. Shoulda, coulda, woulda's, or what ifs, and it is what it is, so I'll take it.
Well, we get a short burst left of laps here, 51 of 64 on the board. A lot of racing left to go, but you're starting up at those first 4 rows, buddy. So give it hell. We'll be pulling for you. Your good buddy Mars has been for a long time, and I'm sure you're going to do all you can to try to put that thing up front. So good luck to these last closing laps, buddy, and congratulations on that win last week. And, man, who knows? Can you make it 2 in a row here tonight? Let's see, buddy. Good luck.
Thank you, sir.
All right, Gary Piccolo, number 22, guys. The lights are out atop the pace car, Todd. Going to put this thing back under the green flag, and the complexion of this race has kind of changed a little bit. You look up front, we find the 02 of Blake McCandless maybe using some, alternate, tire and fuel strategy here, not coming to pit road this time, or maybe a 2-tire pit stop, but we haven't seen Blake at the front of the field all night long. He's going to try his hand at leading this thing.
Yeah, definitely going to try his hand. In that 02 machine is Blake McCandless. You got the 33 of Martin Karch. You got the 31 of Derek Justice. 4th is the 3 of Joey the Man, Ken Hansen, Ryan Johnson, Gary Piccolo. The 121 of Steve Looney, Robert Balcom, and Brian Wolf. That's your top 10. Jason Skaraki, Scott Stroyer, Isaac Johnson, Rick Moon, Bobby Farrell, and Monte Keller. That's your top 16. Jim Black, John Palmer, and Scott Geiswhite, and Keith Patton rounds out your field. Getting ready to go back to Green Flag Racing. They are restacked. They are repacked. We're ready to go green here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Just waiting on the drivers and the flaggers. Flagger throws that green flag. The drivers put the loud pedal down. Derek Justice all over the rear bumper of the 02 of Blake McCandless coming down here into turn number 1. The 33 of Martin Karch way up on the top side. Gets a little bit loose there. He's got a rear view mirror full of the number 3 of Joey the Man.
Well, if you're going to make that top side work, you got to do it on new tires, and that's what the 33 is going to do. Put the loud pedal down, had that handle working beautifully off of turn number 2. Martin Karch now back to the race lead. Joey DeMann has now moved his way back to second. Races for about that 4th spot, Todd. Ken Hansen down low, the 31 of Derek Justice up high. Racing for 4th, racing for the lead as they exit turn 4.
Yeah, battle for the lead. The 3 of the Joey the Man is on the bottom side here, side by side with the 33 of Martin Karch. The high side Hustler Karch side by side down the front straightaway. The 3 of Joey the Man now 3 wide. Here comes Derek Justice into the fray. Joey the Man tries to block it. Here comes Martin Karch. He's down the track. Oh, what a whale of a show here. In the top 4, the top 5 guys all together.
Yeah, certainly were. The shortcomer there was the 02 of Blake McCandless, got stuck in the outside lane. Especially 3 wide, not a place you want to be. Indianapolis whatsoever. He had to roll out of it, let those guys go. He's going to try to use that momentum to propel his way past the Ken Hansen machine. Now it's Gary Piccolo to the outside, side by side with Hansen. That's running for about that 6th spot, Todd, through turns number 3 and 4.
Joey the Man a little bit tail happy here in the 2nd spot. Give Derek Justice to the 2nd spot now. That 31 machine put him up to 2nd. Drop kick Joey the Man back to 3rd. Blake McCandless now all over the rear bumper. Here comes McCandless. He's going to be fighting for 3rd. And that 02 machine down the front straightaway. Ken Hansen into the fray. Good battle here for that 3rd spot.
Certainly is a great battle. 3 cars stuck in the outside lane. You got to think probably about a lap and a half, 2 laps on new tires. That's about all the good stick you're going to get in the outside lane. The 3 car, by no means, he is game, to the challenge. He uses that great run off of turn number 2. Can he make the pass down the backstretch? He's going to clear Blake McCandless, put Joey DeMann with a power move back to that 3rd spot as they hit turn 3.
Yeah, Ken Hansen was trying to power move of his own way down on the bottom in that 109 machine, not able to pull off of the pass here. He actually lost a position to the 22 of Gary Piccolo. Good racing going on here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Meanwhile, back up front, Justice all over the rear bumper. The 33 of Martin Karch. Is he going to be able to keep him at bay?
Well, we'll have to see as they hit turn number 1 this time. The answer is yes. Martin with a 2-car length advantage through turn number 1 to the east end of the racetrack. And that was a sweeping to turn number 2. Martin's got the race lead now down to about a car length and a half. Call it 2 car lengths. The 31 is there, but the question is he going to have enough time to make that run? Is he going to do it now? Is he going to wait a lap? He is right there. Call it 2 car lengths, Todd, as they hit turn 3.
And about 2 car lengths separate Martin Karch and the 31 of Derek Justice. Now about a car length here. Justice now all over the rear bumper of the 33. Is he going to be able to get that draft? Karch trying to shake up the draft down the front straightaway. Right now, Justice still maintaining behind him here as we flash by the start-finish line here. 56 laps complete, or 55 laps complete. We're starting lap 56 of 64, so about 8 laps to go. Karch now drifts up the track just a wee bit there through the corner. The 31 of Derek Justice now back all over the rear side of him.
He's got a mirror full of that 31. Martin's just going to turn that mirror off. He has to drive for all he is worth down the back straightaway. Keep that 31 car behind you there. Derek, a 9-time winner. Can he make it on even 10 here in Indianapolis? Martin came so close within about 2 laps last year of winning this race. A great car once again this evening for that 33, leading the race. 56 laps, so 64 on the board as they come off of turn number 4. Mark still holding that advantage, Todd. But, Derek Justice, he got that down to a car length. A mirror full is there. They are still single file, but we're going to see a race for the lead before too long. That may bring those guys third on back like Joey DeMann, who's fallen about 6 or 7 car lengths. But these guys start the battle. That's going to bring those 3 cars right back into the stand.
Yeah, indeed, it's going to. There's still pretty good battles here going on from 5th on back. Those guys grouped together pretty well. They're leading that fray right now is the number 02 of Blake McCandless. Now it looks like Derek Justice down on the bottom side here. And Martin Karch battle for the lead. They're side by side down, coming down into the corners. Karch going to be able to hold them at bay here on the top side of the speedway. He's able to stay in the throttle a little bit longer. Justice drifts up the track just a little bit. Tries to get around the 33 of Karch. Now Karch gets a wee bit loose there, a little tail happy there in the middle of the corner. Able to hold off the charges of the 31 of Derek Justice down the front straightaway once again.
Yeah, certainly, and Martin in full defense mode there. What a move there. Driving it deep to turn 3, leaving the 31 pin right down to the low side of the racetrack. Now, Indy, one of these places, it's narrow, it's hard to pass, but it's one of these, kind of places there, Todd, when you set up the entrance to turn 1 and turn 3, you need the benefit of all the racetrack you can get to let that thing slide up and maybe set the nose. So that may have taken the run away for the 31 if you could leave them pinned down like that.
Yeah, now the Justice to the top side of the speedway. That's Karch's line there, the high side hustler. He's taking a book out of his page, trying to muscle him on the high side. Is the 31 of Derek Justice almost making contact there? Is Karch and the 31 of Justice. They're still side by side, door handle to door handle. Here coming down the front straightaway. Who's going to have the run here to the start finish line? Right now it is a 33 of Martin Karch. I believe is going to nip him here at the line by a slimmest of margins. They are still side by side coming down into turn 1.
Yeah, side by side to turn 1. Martin get a little bit loose there. Not sure if there was contact between him and the 31, but Martin's going to reclaim the race lead. Well, look what it's done for the run of the 3 car of Joey DeMann. He's closed that down from about 10 car lengths. He's down to about 3 or 4. So as those guys, battle amongst themselves, the 3 car of Joey DeMann, he may have something to say about this thing. As we get down to 5 laps to go, it looks like as of right now, it's a 3 car, battle for maybe for the win of this thing.
Yeah, beautiful 3-car battle. Here comes Justice back down to the bottom side here of the 33 of Karch, the 3 of Joey DeMann right there. Also, the 33 of Martin Karch is trying to drive all over the track here, trying to keep the 31 at the bay. Here comes Joey DeMann to the 2nd spot. Power move to the top side of the speedway for Joey DeMann. Put Derek Justice back to 3rd.
That put Justice back to 3rd. How about the run for Joey DeMann, the high side, using that draft to his advantage. Joey, a smart racer. If anybody knows Joey, he's won a lot of races, a lot of championships over the years. Knows how to save that race car, knows when to push it, and I think he played it just right there. As he, let those 2 guys battle up front, maybe saved a little bit of his stuff and made that awesome run. As those guys got side by side, he was able to run that, interval down in almost a full straightaway. He ran those guys down and now put the 3 car up to 2nd. We know the 31 is fast. Does he have another run left at the 3? And can these guys do anything at all in our race in the 33, who's trying to drive away and hide from these guys, Todd, as they head toward turn 1?
Yeah, he is indeed trying to drive away, run away and hide in the 33 machine, running with the Avery Karch here on the on his name. It's Martin Karch. That's the high side Helser in that 33 machine. Beautifully prepared car out there on the Speedway there, Phil. And right now he is leading. He's on lap 61 right now. When he comes this time by, it's going to be 3 to go. Joey the Man starting to close the gap just a little bit. That's about 3.5 car lengths, maybe even 4 car lengths back to the number 3 of Joey the Man. Then you got the 31 of Derek Justice. He's running in that third spot, but all over the rear bumper of Joey the Man. Here they come down through the corner here. Going to see what kind of run these guys are going to get on the straightaway, Phil. That's where the big drafting comes into play here, as now they're down the front straightaway. They're going to complete lap number 61 here and flash by the start finish line to try to now lap 62. They're on the start of lap 62 of 64. Can Karch hold off the number 3 of Joey the Man and the 31 of Derek Justice?
Can we possibly see, a pass for the win here, and he's closing laps. The race is for the second spot. The 31 of Justice to the low side. Joey the Man fighting back on the high side of that number 3. Almost a little bit of doors banging down the back stretch. Joey trying to, jostle himself back to the low side, trying to move, every ounce of that momentum to his advantage. Drives it deep into turn 3 with the 31 having the benefit of the low side. Looks like he may clear that pass, Todd. Move Derek Justice now up to the second spot off of turn number 4. Looking like 2 to go at the line next time around.
Popsicle sticks in the air, 2 to go. 2 more laps around the Indianapolis Motor Speedway for Avery Karch, Martin Karch, and that number 33 machine now Derek Justice in that second spot. How fast can Justice close the gap between himself and Karch? We're going to have to just wait and see through the corners here, because it looks like Justice starting to come there, but Joey the Man is right there in that third spot. So if these guys start battling, Joey the Man still into this fray in that number 3 machine. We're going to have to wait and see.
Down into turn number 3, we're going to see the white flag this time around. Can Martin Karch hold that 31 back there for 2.5 miles? One more lap around the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. They work their way off of turn 4. 33 slams that thing to the bottom. 31 looking for running room. White flag in the air there, Todd.
White silk in there. One more trip. Martin Karch comes down to block the run of the 31 of Derek Justice down here into the corner. They're side by side coming down. The 33 of Martin Karch on the top side of the Speedway. He's trying to do everything he can to fend off that 31 machine. Karch a wee bit loose there coming off the corner.
A little bit loose coming off the corner. He'll have the advantage as they hit off the exit of turn 2. One more big run for the 31 of Justice. Can he make the run? Can Martin Karch claim his first checkered flag in TDR's Apple Collision Center Premier Cup Series? The 4 years in existence, Martin has come close so many times. He's got one more corner left to make. Throws a big block through turn number 3 and 4. As they exit turn 4, checkered flag in the air. Martin going to slam it all the way down to the low side of the racetrack. It's going to be a drag race back to the start finish line. Both cars around, they both spin. Who is going to win?
Oh, looks like the 3 of Joey the Man's going to squeak it home after those guys make contact. Karch going to come spinning around. He's going to finish in that second spot. Contact made down the front straightaway. Joey the Man picks up the win, and the number 3 machine Carnage on the front straightaway. All kinds of cars, torn up race cars all over. Martin Karch finishes second there in the 33, leading almost to that checkered flag there.
Well, I said it with about 5 laps to go when Joey the Man was running third. I said don't count that 3 car out. If they start battling up front, we may see him go to victory lane if those 2 drivers start racing hard, and that's exactly what we saw there. Joey the Man picking up his first win in the TDR Apple Collision Center Premier Cup Series. I'm sure he has to be one very happy race car driver. Gotta think one dejected race car driver has to be Martin Karch, net 33. Once again coming up 1 corner short of claiming a checkered flag. Made one more attempt to block down the front stretch of both drivers making contact and spinning off in the wrong direction. So tough break for them guys, but ultimately it's going to be Joey the Man to victory lane. Martin's going to frolish off in second, and it's going to be the 31 of Derek Justice there, Todd. He's going to finish up here third tonight. What a tremendous race down the stretch there, Todd. Let's see if you can't talk to our third place finisher.
Indeed, I've caught up with the driver, the 31, the Baskin-Robbins Ford Fusion, Derek Justice. Justice bringing home another podium finish here and patting that points lead just a little bit. Tell us a little bit about your run here. Derek, you started 20th. You brought it home third here this evening.
Oh, it was a lot of fun. Just starting the back and because I failed Qualitech there. But I just kind of wish that race went green all the way just to see what would happen. But I had to argue with some officials there about some calls, but it's all right. We'll take a third, and I mean, 33 had that race won. I don't know why he had to wreck us, but it's all good.
Well, bringing home a third-place finish, like you said, padding your points lead just a little bit here. You've won 9 times here in the TDR Premier Cup Series, and like I said, another top 5 finish here. Can't shake your head at that bad.
No, we'll take another top 5, and we'll just, like I said, just race at 33 and clean all those 13 laps, and he does that, so I don't know what to say, but it's all good.
Oh, Derek, I'm going to give you the microphone. The floor is all yours. Thank whoever you'd like to thank here. Who got you here?
Yeah, thanks for everybody in YouTube land watching today, and of course, Full Velocity Network for putting this on. First TDR race. I think this was a fantastic show. A lot of clean racing, I should say. And you know, just got to thank SRA and all the supporters out there, and just thank everybody that still supports NR 2003. And that is all.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, that's a driver of the 31. Derek Justice bringing home the 3rd place tonight here in that 31 machine. Now, I'm going to throw it down to Phil, who's caught up with the driver in the number 33.
Yeah, I'm down here trackside to 33 of Martin Karch. Martin, we talked about it earlier. So close 1 year ago, and probably about 200 yards from a start-finish line. You know the 31 was in your mirror. You try to make that last block to keep him behind you. You guys make contact, and I know you got to be dejected, man. I know you wanted this one bad tonight, but you got to be proud of the effort you gave that Children's Hospital, number 33 this evening.
Where do I begin? Yeah, we should have saved a little bit more tires and had a better run, but unfortunately we burned them up trying to keep out front, making moves that we shouldn't have been making on the high side to keep everybody behind us, but oh well.
Well, man, you know what's Indianapolis? It's a narrow racetrack. It's very line sensitive, very tough to pass, and you know from years of doing this, you got to keep those guys, through the middle of these corners. Got to keep them pinched to the bottom so they can't complete that run. So you gave it a hell of a try. You had a great car. You let it stick on the outside. Maybe didn't use up a little more tire. I'm sure you wish you had that extra quarter, man. I mean, about 200 yards away from the first checkered flag, but it would have been bittersweet for you. The run's going to be bittersweet. I know you're one spot short of where you want to be victory lane, but flying that Avery Karch name here tonight, having that special paint scheme on the race car, just the run you had here had to make you feel good. One spot short, but you got to be proud of the effort.
Yeah, pretty proud of it. Now quit rubbing it in that I didn't win.
Well, buddy, we were all rooting for you up here, a teammate and a friend for a long time. We want to see you, get that monkey off your back to victory lane. But I want to give the microphone one more time. Give a shout out to all your friends, your family out there. I know you got family out there watching this evening, your sponsors, your buddies out there. Give a shout out here while we get here one more time for the first time on Full Velocity, buddy.
Well, I'd like to give a shout out to my fellow FVN guys, especially you, Phil, for putting a black cloud over my head. I'd also like to give a shout out to all my family that's out there watching, which Avery's not watching tonight, but he should be watching it tomorrow sometime.
Well, that's great to hear, and great to hear Avery is doing well, but, hate to give you that black cloud, buddy. I really thought you had it in the bank here tonight, but what can you say? We come back another day and try it again.
Yeah, that's a possibility. You never know.
We'll have to wait and see. Well, that's our buddy Martin Karch, guys. He's certainly a dejected race car driver, one spot short tonight, but got to be proud of the run he gave tonight. But another guy who's got to be really, really happy down there in victory lane, that's Joey the Man. He's down there with our buddy Joe Allen, who's made his way out of the booth. Joe, you got to have a very, very happy victory lane, a really happy driver down there.
Oh, absolutely, guys. I'm down here dodging Gatorade bursting and beer flying around and everything else that you could possibly imagine going on in Victory Lane here at Indianapolis. I think Joey's even got himself a glass of milk as well. So congratulations out there, Joey. Heck of a race for you in the top 5 for most of the night. And, you know, they say this for a reason. You know, stick around there because anything can happen towards the end of these races, and it sure did with 200 feet before we got to the start-finish line, and you just happened to be in the right place at the right time, squeak by, grab yourself a win here tonight in the Apple Collision Premier Cup Series. Go ahead and tell us about your race. You were up in the top 5 for most of the night, bud.
Oh, thank you, Joe. Yeah, sure. Can't really tell you how we got through that last one there. I saw a car spinning. One was on the inside, one was on the outside. We shot the gap, and luckily 200 feet, like you said, and we got it. For this track for us, it's a hit and miss. The GM Goodwrench Service number 3 has always been a top 10 car here. Every once in a while, we get a good hit, and it's top 5. But we hung around the top 5 all night. Had a strong car in the long runs. Great in the draft. Really great for qualifying, which we've focused on lately. And yeah, we're just happy and praise the Lord that we're up here in Victory Lane. First Indianapolis victory for us.
Absolutely. Strong run all night for you. And I don't know if you were, if the crew chief had forwarded the word to you or not, but you were my pick to win this thing tonight. So you certainly helped me as far as our broadcast points go. And I know that helps you in your run for a championship here for the Apple Collision Premier Cup Series. Always a huge supporter over here for all of the TDR series. And I know those guys over there really appreciate you coming out week in and week out and supporting them. But Joey, you know, we saw you try to do a little bit of a burnout at the end of that thing. I tried to capture that for all the fans. It looked like tires were just a little bit too sticky for that, but all in all, it's fun. It was a great race. Congratulations to you on securing that win out there. Sometimes, you know, at the end of those things, when stuff like that happens, it's better to be lucky than good. And you know, you happen to be the lucky man on the totem pole tonight. You squeaked right by it. But I'm going to open up the microphone to you, sir. I know you got some sponsors out there, some friends and family that are watching, and you know, I'm going to hand the mic over to you, and you know, thank whoever you want to thank.
Well, thank you, buddy. First, we always got to thank the good Lord for keeping us alive out here. Without him, we sure wouldn't be around. I sure wouldn't be around. This team wouldn't be around. Got to thank GM being with us forever, except for 1 year. And got to thank all our associate sponsors, Liberty, Daystar, Elevation Network, all our great workers back at the shop keeping these cars and trucks for the TDR Pro Series up and running. It's just a great group of guys, a great series to run in. We've always been competitive here. 2-time champion of this series, and we're happy to be back in the championship conversation again.
Well, there you go. Well, Joey, one more question for you. You're here in Victory Lane at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Where are you heading to next, bud?
Well, the cliche is Disney World, but I've already been there.
Good answer. I'll take it. Guys, back up to you in the booth. That's our race winner here tonight for the Apple Collision Premier Cup Series, that number 3 machine piloted by Joey DeMann.
Yeah, that's a feel-good story indeed. Seeing that number 3 back in Victory Lane at Indianapolis. Joey, it's been coming for a long time for him, and finally punches that ticket. Luck sometimes, Todd, got to be on your side. And, you know, 200 yards from the finish line, racing for the lead, the 33, the 31 get together. And sometimes to be lucky than good, but the 3 car, he was both of that tonight. And congratulations to Joey DeMann on finding his way to Victory Lane.
Yeah, again, congratulations to Joey the Man. He had luck on his side. The 3 of Joey the Man able to pull it off after the 31 and 33, like you said, made contact. And those guys able to gather it back up and finish 2nd and 3rd respectively. And it's going to be an interesting points battle for the announcers here as 1, 2, 3 once again for the announcing pick. So have to wait and see what that's going to all shape up. Joey the Man, the 3rd, car number 3. 3rd winner here on FVN, so it's great to see all these different guys. So 3 different winners in a row. We have not had a repeat winner here on the Full Velocity Network as of yet.
We have not as of yet. Will that change in our next broadcast? We'll head over to our website, fullvelocitynetwork.com. Check out our full schedule. Dates are filling up fast through the whole month of August, and we've got a lot of support here through the last day and a half. So we may see a lot of dates popping up here through the month of August. So we're going to be very, very busy here through the next couple of months, and certainly very, very thankful for that. So to everybody out there in YouTube land, for everybody out there enjoying the ultimate esport experience, and for our buddies down in the the control booth tonight, Joe Allen, fantastic job as always, buddy. So honored to share the Full Velocity stage with you, and Todd, my partner of so many years, and my brother. Always good to have you alongside. My name is Phil Lacasse. Thank you out there, everybody out there, YouTube land, for however you may be watching, and all the support out there for all of us on the Full Velocity Network. Until next time, we wish you good night, and we'll see you soon.